12 News at 10 starts now.
And we begin tonight with breaking news. A man who is suspected of killing 2 people and wounding several others at Brown University has been found dead in a New Hampshire storage facility.
This is video from the scene as law enforcement make that discovery. Police are identifying the suspect as 48-year-old Claudio Valente, a Portuguese national and a former Brown student. Investigators believe he acted alone in the shooting. Meanwhile, the U.S. attorney in Boston says that Valente is also believed to be responsible for the killing of an MIT professor on Monday. Investigators say they made that connection by identifying a rental car the suspect had driven between Boston and Rhode Island.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. A new ordinance in Phoenix is giving police more authority when it comes to maintaining safety in city parks. But opponents argue it will be used to target the homeless.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly is joining us live in studio with more on how city leaders hope that this new ordinance will make parks safer. Chase?
Creepy Mark, just to be clear, a lot of the issues you're about to hear are already not allowed at our city parks. But what this new ordinance does is make a clearer path for that enforcement. And last night, a lot of people hope that this will work. University Park near downtown Phoenix was at the center of discussion during Wednesday's Phoenix City Council meeting, but not for good reasons.
I've seen drinking, probable drug use, sexual activity, and this should not be acceptable.
People living nearby and Little League coaches who use the park complained about all of this and more.
We should not have to take 5- and 6-year-olds to a park and have them sit there and watch naked people bathing in the irrigation.
To the point where they don't feel safe coming here.
I will not take my kids to Phoenix parks. I will take them to Scottsdale where this doesn't happen.
All problems the council wanted to address with the new ordinance they approved, making these issues a Class 1 misdemeanor at all city parks.
It gives also the Phoenix Police Department the ability to help address some of these violations that occur on park property.
But those against it believe it goes too far.
Who it targets are those who are homeless and struggling with substance abuse, who use our parks as a refuge.
It is clear that this ordinance is meant to further criminalize the unhoused, low-income folks, and people of color.
Saying it does nothing to solve the homeless problem. Councilmember Ana Hernandez was the only one who voted against it.
This is a shameful, racist, ineffective policy masquerading as public safety. I reject this ordinance in its entirety.
Councilmember Jim Waring's argument, these parks are meant for kids and their families.
And I can't even believe we're having to debate this. We're letting 7,000 people dictate how the other 1.7 million of us live.
In the end, the ordinance was passed 8-1. Now, that same night, the City Council also approved another park-related ordinance preventing certain types of medical treatment from happening at our public parks. However, the council said they may consider changing it in the next few months. We're live in the studio. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thanks. Happening right now, Phoenix police investigating after finding a man who had been shot at a gas station. It happened around 7 o'clock this evening near 51st Avenue in McDowell. Phoenix Fire rushed him to the hospital where he's currently being treated for life-threatening injuries. Right now, there's no information about a suspect. Police are asking anyone with information to call Silent Witness at 480-WITNESS.
New at 10, a high-ranking Cochise County official is out of a job following allegations of sexual misconduct involving a child. The allegations concern Paul Correa, the now former Cochise County Chief Civil Deputy. Sierra Vista police say that they responded to a 911 call yesterday at a Target in Sierra Vista and learned that a man allegedly followed a juvenile girl inside the store and recorded her on his phone. Police arrested Correa today, and he is now facing charges of public sexual indecency and evidence tampering. The investigation is now being handled independently by the La Paz County Attorney's Office.
Phoenix Sky Harbor is fast-tracking plans for a brand new terminal. The Phoenix Aviation Department had originally planned to conduct an environmental review with the FAA before beginning construction. That's a process that would have taken 3 to 5 years. But the FAA has now told Sky Harbor that an environmental impact statement submitted in 2006 is enough to move the project forward. That means planning can continue with construction on a new west terminal, possibly beginning as early as 2029, with an opening in 2033.
New developments tonight on oversight of the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. The Board of Supervisors filed a court motion this week to remove the Sheriff's Office from a now 12-year-old court order over racial profiling by MCSO deputies. 12 News journalist Joe Dana tells us how the plaintiffs are responding and how this could impact citizens.
The county board says, for one, taxpayers have paid enough, that they shouldn't keep having to foot the bill for issues that date back to the Joe Arpaio days. The board tells the judge circumstances at the sheriff's office have improved to the point the purpose of the original judgment is satisfied. They argue the federal government is now in danger of overstepping its authority on local budgeting matters. In the 2013 landmark court ruling, federal judge ruled Arpaio's office used unconstitutional police tactic, profiling citizens and immigrants alike. Snow also slapped contempt of court charges on Arpaio and the current sheriff, Jerry Sheridan, for disregarding orders at the time. Since the ruling, the county reports they've spent more than $226 million on reform, saying there will always be bad actors who infiltrate institutions of public trust. MCSO has reformed to assure that racial profiling never occurs. But here's one reason the plaintiffs say that the sheriff's office should remain under the court's thumb. A recent audit shows nearly 3/4 of the money the county attributed to reform costs was not connected to the case. The ACLU saying the report calls into question MCSO's credibility, transparency, and truthfulness. The plaintiffs tell 12 News this request by the county is like asking a doctor to end treatment when a patient's cancer is only partially cured. It'll be up to Judge Snow to decide if it is time to relieve the county of these costly reforms. Joe Dana, 12 News.
All right, Joe, thank you. President Donald Trump is moving to ease some federal restrictions on marijuana. The president signed an executive order today reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule III drug, putting it in the same category as drugs like Tylenol and codeine, ketamine, and testosterone. Cannabis is currently classified as a Schedule I drug in the same category as heroin, ecstasy, and LSD under the Controlled Substances Act of 1970.
This reclassification order will make it far easier to conduct marijuana-related medical research, allowing us to study benefits, potential dangers, and future treatments. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact, I believe.
Marijuana remains illegal at the federal level, and this order doesn't change that. Instead, it directs the U.S. Attorney General to speed up the process to loosen federal restrictions. An official timeline for the change has not been released.
Tonight, the Valley is the epicenter of conservative politics, with Turning Point USA's Americafest getting underway in downtown Phoenix. It's the first time the event has been held since the assassination of the organization's founder, Charlie Kirk. 12 News journalist Sean Rice was inside the Phoenix Convention Center for night one.
Every December, the Phoenix Convention Center here in downtown Phoenix draws some of the biggest names in conservative politics and thousands of attendees from all across the country. This year, the name on everybody's mind is Charlie Kirk, who created this event but tragically passed away 3 months ago. This event is one he created to really celebrate all the work his organization has done that year. Although he is no longer here, the message tonight was very clear. His mission will continue to live on. The energy inside the Phoenix Convention Center felt as night one of Americafest 2025 kicked off. Not an empty seat in the house for a speech from Erica Kirk 3 months after losing her husband, Charlie.
This is a full circle moment for me. 2 years ago, my husband stood on this stage and said, "Here I am, Lord."
Kirk graced the stage after a tribute video to her late husband as she reflected on her loss.
My husband, he deeply mattered on a multitude of levels, so much so that it proved even more once he was assassinated how much of a peacemaker he was and how much of a coalition builder he was.
Members of that coalition coming from near and far to celebrate his life.
We've been looking forward to this for several months, ever since Charlie's assassination.
Alan and Jackie Clemens traveling all the way from Alaska to the Valley, still in shock over the events that led Charlie to no longer be with them.
As we continue watching, is just disbelief. It couldn't have happened. Then it was just replayed over and over again.
The event bigger than politics for some, resonating with Charlie's faith an ability to debate those he disagreed with.
It's definitely brought people closer with their faith, and it's helped to bring people together.
That's what I see in the school I'm working at, is that they're interested in each other, and not that we agreed with each other, but they get a debate going, and it's not angry.
Erica Kirk's message, one of hope for those in attendance, carrying forward his beliefs even amidst his absence.
Another moment where you decide not to drift, not to disengage, not to give into cynicism, but to stand up boldly, to be brave, to speak clearly, because that is how we are going to honor Charlie.
And Americafest 2025 will continue all the way through Sunday. On that day, Vice President J.D. Vance will deliver a keynote address. In downtown Phoenix, Sean Rice, 12 News.